Hello guys, and welcome to tutorial number 12. So in this tutorial we're actually going to be looking at CSS. If you can remember, actually I told you guys that from the first video on this series, I told you guys that CSS stands for cascading style sheet, and CSS is actually what we use to style our website. So let's say you wanted to add things like a background image to your website, or you want to change the color of a text, or you want to add margin to a content on your page. So you actually do all of that with CSS. And okay, so that's it. So now that we've reminded ourselves what CSS actually does and what it means, let's go to our text editor and see how we can actually use CSS on our website. Okay, so now let's see how we can actually do use CSS. So first thing, let's actually go ahead and okay, so here you can actually see that we just have the normal text here. So just go ahead and add a title of intro to cascading style sheet, and we have just our normal meta and all that. So let's look at our browser, and okay, let's just navigate to our localhost and just refresh. So make sure you have your XAMPP opened up and Apache turned on. Okay, so as you can see, our page here is blank, and also htdocs folder, as you can see here, we just have this index.html as in the previous tutorial. So this is the file we're making use of in this tutorial. So we'll go ahead and minimize that now, and the browser is still blank. Okay, so now before we actually go into styling something, we want to actually have something we can actually style. So let's just go ahead and put in a paragraph and say hey there. Okay, so that's it. And now we're actually going to want to style this, but before we actually style or get into the styling process, I want in CSS we actually have three ways to style things, or style our content, or style text in our website. So the first way is the Inline Css, and the second way is the Embedded Css, where we actually have to embed a style tag in our document here. And the third way is actually the external CSS. So first of all, I'm actually going to be looking at the first two, which is the Inline CSS and the Embedded CSS. So to actually make use of the Inline CSS, what we're going to want to do now is we're going to go right into this p tag, and we're going to add in attributes, and this is the style attributes. So just go ahead and hit enter, and we've got the style attributes, and it's completed for us by Sublime Text. So now that we've got the style attributes, we actually need to add in another thing, and that is going to be the property. So what the property you want to actually give to this element is what we're going to go ahead and add in within this double quotation mark. So let's say we want to actually turn the color of this text green. So what we're going to do now is type in the property color. Alright, so we're going to type in the color property, and you can actually see once it was correct, and once Sublime Text noticed the text or the property was correct, it went ahead and turned it blue. So if I went ahead and let's say I went ahead and spelled the color this way, you can actually see it's wrong, right? So it didn't highlight blue, so this is actually not gonna work. So for those in Nigeria, this is actually, or I don't know, maybe other countries, this is actually how they spell color. But when you're working with HTML, make sure you spell the color this way. So once it gets highlighted, and you're gonna actually see that it's okay. So this property is highlighted, which means it's a valid CSS property. So after that, next thing you're gonna want to do now is add in a column. Just after the color property, you add in a column, and after the column, you want to give this a value. So the value is gonna be the color you want to actually make this element have. Okay, so we actually want to make this text here have the color. Okay, let's say you want to give it the color green. So just go ahead and type in green there, and actually turns blue again. So just go ahead and save this, and let's see if that works. Okay, so go ahead and refresh, and we've got a green text. So isn't that cool? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So the next thing we want to do now is, okay, let's say we wanted to add in another property. So let's go here, and we didn't just go ahead and start typing another property in here. No, So what we're actually going to do is make sure we actually separate each properties within this double quotation marks, and to separate one property from the other property, we're going to make use of semicolon. Okay, so that's what we actually use to separate two properties within a style, an inline style. So next, let's just go ahead in the property. So let's say you want to actually make or want to actually increase the size of this text. So actually you can see the size here, it's just normal. Okay, so actually zoomed in so you guys can actually see this better, but just no. So we want to actually increase the size of that text. So the property we're going to make use of is what we call the font size. Okay, so the font size, so just go ahead and type in font and a dash and a size. Okay, so it's font size, then you put in your column as usual. Then next you're going to want to add in the value you want to actually make this text have. Okay, so this text want to actually increase it, so let's try and increase it. Let's say we want to increase that, and let's just give it 50 pixels. Okay, so you can actually see I went ahead and added this px, which stands for pixels in CSS. So we're actually going to look at this later, because we also have some other ways of defining content like this. So we actually have rem and some others, but let's just actually make use of the pixels for now. So let's just go ahead and save this and come to our browser and refresh. Okay, and boom, our text is now very large. So you can actually see that the text was increased, the size of this text was increased. So the font size property that we added here actually worked. So if we want to reduce this now, just go ahead and give this a 10. Go ahead and save that, come back here, refresh, and you can see now it's very, very small. So that's actually how you make use of the inline CSS. And next thing, let's go ahead and look at how we can actually make use of the next type of CSS, which is the embedded CSS. So let's just go ahead, save that, refresh, and you can see now we're having our normal text back. So let's see how we can actually use the embedded CSS. So for the embedded CSS, we want to actually make sure you add it within this head tag. Alright, so it shouldn't be in the body but in the head. Okay, so let's go here and just under the title we're going to type in a style and just hit enter, and it has completed for us by Sublime Text. And you can see we've got a style tag here, and within the style tag we've got a type here, an attribute of type, and it's got a value of text /CSS. So this just actually tells us we're actually making use of CSS. So just go ahead and indent that now, and in this style tag want to actually go ahead and use something different now. So it's not actually the same way we made use of this inline CSS. So in here, what we're going to want to do now is use a selector. So how the selector works is you're just going to go ahead and take in the letter you want to actually style, or the letter within the tag you want to style. So if we're going to style this P, want to style this hey there, and it is embedded in this tag of P, so we're going to go ahead and take in this P tag. So if we want to style the body, we're going to take the body, we're going to go ahead and type in here body. So if we type in P, so which means we want to actually style this P tag. But if we go ahead and type in body instead, okay, so this means we want to actually style the body, but that's not what we're going to style now. So let's actually just take a look at the P. So now we've got the P selected, and we want to style this P tag. Okay, so after selecting the tag you want to style, the next thing you're going to want to do now is go ahead and impute these two curly braces. Okay, so just hit enter to break this down the line and indent it. And now I want to go ahead and add in our properties. So the first property, okay, let's say we want to actually still make it green. So so just go ahead and add in our color, and just after the color we make it green. Okay, you end that off, make sure you add in the semicolon at the end of it. So go ahead and save this, come to our browser, refresh, and you can see we've got the green text again, right? Cool. Okay, so we've got lots of colors, so you can go ahead and type in blue, and it's gonna make it blue. Okay, so you can go ahead and type in red too, and it's gonna make that red. Okay, so you can see we've got a lot of properties, a lot of colors to add, and so that was actually true. We've got a lot of properties. So in CSS we've got very long list of properties you can actually add to your elements on your website. So we're going to take a look at most of them, but for now this is the one you need to know. So so you can actually see that with the use of these style tags, it's actually easier to style elements on our website. So let's say you went ahead and added in another p tag here, and you went ahead and say style me. Okay, go ahead and save this and come back to your browser and hit refresh. You see it actually also gets the style that we gave to this p. So any tag within this p is always going to be styled, right? So if we went ahead and wrote in something like hey there, okay, hey there, I am outside a p tag. Okay, this is a p tag. Save this now, and if you go to a browser and refresh, you can actually see this text doesn't get any style. And why that is because you can actually see we didn't surround it in any tag. So it would just within the page there is no tag surrounding this element, so we can't actually style this element yet. Because we didn't give it any style. But if we went ahead and surrounded this, okay, so let's say we want to surround this in a p tag, and we went ahead and added in p tag here, and we went and close it up. Sorry. Okay, we'll save this now and refresh. You can actually see it got the style, so because it was actually placed in a p tag. So let's just take that up. Okay, go ahead and save this, and it's gone again. So that is actually how this p tag works. So that's actually how the p selector works. So we select every element with a p. So if we went ahead and took let's say we take this stuff out and save this now and come back to a browser, we've got no style. So if we actually made use of the color, okay, sorry, we're gonna actually add a style attribute, and in here we put a color, and next to give it a color of, let's say, blue. Okay, go ahead and save this now. You come back to a browser and refresh, you can actually see only this element got the style. So only this hey there text got the style, as you can see here. So this is actually quite okay, but not so gonna be nice. Let's say you have a lot of p tags or a lot of content on your website with a lot of p's, or you embedded them in a lot of p tags, and you want to actually start everything at once. You can actually do that, because you're gonna actually have to make use of go ahead and start typing this old stuff in, pasting it in every of the p tags, and you can actually see that that's going to be terrible. Because let's say you're having about 100 paragraphs or on just one page like this, and you're going to go ahead and start adding this old attribute here into that. Well, it's going to be so time it's going to consume a lot of time, right? So instead of doing this, you can actually go ahead and just type in this content, or just go ahead and add in this color property, use a selector, add in this color property, and with that you can actually get everything styled by just using one line of code, which is the color property, using these style tags. So it's actually much better to make use of this style tags. So just to make things easier, you can actually go ahead and make use of style tag. Okay, so let's say I went ahead and added in p here. Okay, so I didn't actually select this, so let's select our paragraph. In here, let's add in our color, and let's give this a color of what color now? Okay, let's say red. Okay, go ahead and save this. Now we should have, okay, so these two are now red. Next thing we want to do now is we want to actually talk about CSS styling weight. Okay, so the styling weight in CSS. So CSS have styling weights, or the CSS have different styling weights. Different styles have their own weights in CSS. So remember I told you guys you have three ways of styling elements or styling content in our website, and I told you the first one is Inline Css, the second is embedded, and the third is an external style sheet. So in CSS, the one with the most weight, or the one that weighs most, is the Inline Css. So the Inline Css has more weight than the other two, and that's how the line goes. And after that, the style, so whenever we add in a style here, it's going to have more weight than this one. So the embedded CSS has more weight than the external CSS. So we're actually going to look at that. I'm going to show you guys how that works in the next video. So for now, we're just taking a look at the inline CSS and the embedded CSS. So let's actually test that. And so let's just add a style property here, and let's give this a color, and say this color should be let's say gray. So okay, go ahead and save this, and if you come to a browser and refresh, okay, so you can actually see that the color of this text is now gray. Why is that? You can actually see here we went ahead and made it red, but now because we added in this property here, this inline CSS, so this text here went ahead and changed its color, and now we're having a gray color instead of a red. So what happened here was that this inline CSS actually weighs more than this embedded CSS. So it went ahead and overrode whatever color property you gave to this element. So this CSS here overrode that color, and that's how we're having this gray color here. So that's actually how CSS works, and that's all I have for you guys in this video. So in the next video, we're gonna actually see how we can actually make use of the external CSS, which is actually the most common one we actually make use of. So in a real life scenario, we're actually gonna make use of external CSS more often. So we're gonna actually see how we're gonna use that in the next video. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for staying to the end of this video. That really means a lot to me. So please, if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. Subscribe to my channel and watch another one of my videos, and I'll see you next time.